This episode of the BIC Magazine Weekly Industry Report is brought to you by Draeger Rental and Safety Services, your trusted source for industrial safety services and technology. We'll share more about Draeger later in the episode. Welcome to the BIC Magazine Weekly Industry Report, your go-to source for the latest updates in the energy sector. I'm Samantha, your AI podcast host, and today is September 13th, 2024. In today's episode, OCI Global's $2 billion sale of OCI methanol, EIA data on natural gas pipeline capacity, and other top news from the energy sector this week. But before we get started, we ask that if you enjoy our podcast, please like, comment, and share it with your colleagues. Your support helps us grow and allows us to bring you even more exciting updates from the energy sector in the future. OCI Global has announced the sale of its global methanol business to Methanex Corporation for $2.05 billion. This deal includes OCI's U.S. and European methanol assets, including a major facility in Texas. The transaction will be a mix of cash and Methanex shares, giving OCI a 13% stake in the enlarged company. A lawsuit regarding a joint venture stake may affect part of the deal, but the transaction is expected to close in 2025, pending regulatory approvals. Next up, we'll move on to some new data insights from the EIA. According to the agency, natural gas pipeline takeaway capacity in the Permian Basin will soon increase as the Matterhorn Express pipeline, a joint venture between Whitewater, EnLink Midstream, Devon Energy, and MPLX, is set to begin service this month. With a capacity of 2.5 billion cubic feet per day, the pipeline will transport natural gas from the Permian Basin to Katy, Texas. This comes as natural gas production in the Permian has surged, driving the need for more pipeline capacity to relieve pressure on prices. The new pipeline should help stabilize natural gas prices at the Waha hub, where prices have been consistently below zero this year. For our next story, we turn to the impact of Hurricane Francine, as oil prices rose over 1%, due to the storm's disruption of U.S. output. Brent crude rose to $71.55 per barrel, while U.S. crude hit $68.31. The storm has taken 1.5 million barrels of oil production offline in the Gulf of Mexico, which accounts for 15% of U.S. output. Additionally, the International Energy Agency cut its 2024 oil demand growth forecast due to weak Chinese demand. The overall market remains cautious amid concerns about U.S. economic growth. Before we move on to our next story, a quick word from our sponsor. This episode of the BIC Magazine Weekly Industry Report is brought to you by Draeger Rental and Safety Services. From daily operations to large turnaround and shutdown projects, partner with Draeger for smart technical solutions that protects, supports, and saves lives. To learn more, visit www.draeger.com. For our next story, South Extrusion is investing $17 million to expand its facility in Ouachita Parish, Louisiana, by adding 2 new blown film extrusion lines. This expansion will create 21 direct jobs and 45 indirect jobs, boosting the local economy. The investment will enhance production of polyethylene film, used in various industries, and reflects the company's commitment to growth in Monroe. The project is supported by Louisiana's economic development incentives, and the new lines are expected to be operational by August 2025. Finally, we'll close the show out with a local story. X-ELIO has signed a power purchase agreement with Google to supply 128 megawatts of sustainable energy from its Bell Solar PV plant in Texas. The solar farm, which will include a 100-megawatt battery storage system, is expected to start operations in late 2025. This partnership supports Google's goal to run its operations on 24/7 carbon-free energy by 2030. X-ELIO sees this deal as a milestone in its U.S. renewable energy strategy, with over 5 gigawatts of pipeline projects in development, making the U.S. a key market for the company. And with that, we come to a close on this week's episode of the BIC Magazine Weekly Industry Report. You can head over to bicmagazine.com to read the full stories discussed today, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels so that you never miss out on the latest developments, updates, and announcements from the energy sector. Have a great day, and remember, It's what we do together that counts. Thank you again to Draeger Rental and Safety Services for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure to visit www.draeger.com to learn more about Draeger's smart safety solutions for your facility. When safety matters, rely on Draeger, technology for life.